What's up? Here I have an article from the Irish Daily Mail, extra.ie, a Morocco research. And to be quite honest with you, when you're seeing even the media start to concede ground and starting to give people the W's on this side of the fence, I think that's saying an awful lot. I think politically speaking, I think that there are people that are on borrowed time politically that are currently in government. And I think you can already see it when you have a number of them scarpering away from positions and are not going to run in further elections. I think that's pretty interesting and pretty telling. I think these people know that the writing's on the wall right now and that things are going to be bad for them going forward. I think that the next election is going to be very important and people will be elected and take seats off these individuals. I think subsequent elections after that are going to be even more interesting. Now, do I think that there'll be skullduggery and messing going on with regards to these things? 100%. But I also do think that it is important and it is upon the people now to get out there, to get the message, to build a social media platform, and also then to get out there in real life to show themselves as to who they are and why you should be voting for them, as opposed to these idiots that have been running this country into the ground for a very long time. So when you see the media even conceding ground with regards to this, I think it's pretty interesting. So you've got this here. It says, do you think the level of immigration into Ireland is too high, too low, or about right? A whopping 79% said too high. Very interesting figure. I actually think it's higher than that, because when you see 2% said too low and 15% said about right, those people need to be carted off to Rwanda ASAP. You head on over there, have a good time, and enjoy yourselves. Stay there, don't come back. Alright, you're not needed here now, nor are you wanted. And don't know said 4%. These people in the don't know are non-playable characters. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people here that are just in the game and they're not main characters whatsoever, okay? What you have next then is, I worry the government isn't in control of immigration to Ireland. I somewhat agree with that statement. But to be quite honest with you, this is part and parcel of the problem with Europe. The EU are telling these people what to do, and our government are basically acting as administrators. But they're administrators that are keen on doing the bidding of the EU rather than standing up to it, which they could do. Absolutely. And that's what we should have as a government. If we had a government, a real government here, this is a banana republic in my humble opinion. What we have here is a gang of administrators that are just filling their pockets with as much money as possible, and at the behest of themselves and at the behest of people in the EU, because they're not looking at our country and thinking they're going to stay here for a long time. They're thinking they're going to jet off somewhere else and they're going to have a good time, and that's it, and everything's catered for and looked after for them. They're not interested in the mess that they're leaving here behind, but you're going to have to deal with it. You see what I mean? So I worry the government isn't in control of immigration to Ireland. Agree, I would say should be higher. It should be way higher than that, and I would suspect it is. Because how can you not say the government aren't in control of the immigration issue here into Ireland when, you know, it's upon them to enact and enforce policies like checks of passports and documents arriving into the country. How many times have you heard about someone coming into the country that didn't have documents? It's absurd. And not only that then, people that should be carted out of the country then for getting up to no good. 20% said disagree. And 16% said neither. The agree needs to be a little bit higher than that now in my humble opinion. But then again, it's somewhat interesting to see what way people voted with regards to that. Because again, there could be some people that say, well no, I don't think that, because I think actually the EU are behind it. So who knows? I'd love a further question with regards to that potentially. And then the last one then says, I am more concerned about immigration situation than I was a year ago. Now, that's bogus to me in my humble opinion, with agree 64%. I mean, that's exactly the same as that one, which is a bit sketchy in my view. I would far more think that that would have been higher up around here. Like, how can that be 79% and that's 64%? Do you know what I mean? Has to be way higher than that. And in fact, you know, we've seen the polls that have come out before where the Red Sea poll said in and around 75% was what people were feeling at the time. I think it's probably around 85-90 at this stage of the game. I think most people, if you ask them and they were honest with you, they would actually say that you're going to get people that are NPCs, you're going to get about 4% there that are just going to be like, oh, I don't know. And then you're going to get the rest then who are just out to just currently and constantly replace you. That just want the erasure of the Irish people. They want this hodgepodge of nonsense they do, because they think that that's going to create some sort of utopia, which it won't. And has been proven in various other countries. So what you have here, again, you've got 64% that agree that they're more concerned about the immigration situation than you were a year ago. You should be ramping that up. That should be near the 90s, 100%, because what this immigration issue causes is more crime, lack of health services, lack of places for various different things, lack of housing. That's a big thing. And then also the price of housing. That's how the cost of housing has remained the same and is only going up and up and up and up because they keep bringing people in. Supply and demand, very simple thing. So all of these issues are intrinsically linked, and they're all intrinsically linked with immigration. And I think right now you're seeing people that are starting to think a little bit more towards that and say, okay, I think I'd rather be a super majority in my own country with things being a better quality of life than rather welcoming in people from all sorts of different places, being dropped into this place and being given all sorts of stuff there for nothing,